The last 5 or 6 verses have been concerned with materialism. And as with most of the language used in this text, we need to refresh our understanding of many common terms. And if you're a Buddhist or interested in Buddhism, then it's also an opportunity to refresh your understanding of many Buddhist terms. But most of us have got a sense of what materialism is about. Spiritually, though, it is a very potent thing. It's a lot more than just longing for material acquisition. In the context of spiritual practice, in the context of enlightenment practice, and in the context of these verses, materialism is about justifying your moods. Justifying your moods in terms of how you perceive the world to be. And more significantly, it's not just the external world. You can look at the world and see how terrible it is and use that to reinforce your own depression or your own sense of injustice or whatever. But the world also includes the world of our physiology, the world of our own psychology. This is also the world. You might say, well, I had an alcoholic mother and an abusive father, so no wonder I am the way I am. This is a case in point. You're justifying your moods. You're justifying your fundamental mood tone even. And by that I mean the habit energy of your moods. The basic fundamental pattern, which is where you're always coming from. We justify this. This is also justifying it in terms of the world. It is materialism. And the point is, if we're an enlightenment practitioner, we can be happy regardless. We don't justify, and in doing so reinforce our mood habits, our mood habit energy even, in terms of the world, in terms of our body, in terms of our past history, in terms of our psychology, in terms of our genetic makeup and whatever. We can choose to be happy. Happy with a capital H when we come back to awareness, or mind itself. So that's materialism. And in the next verse, we have the consequences of materialism. And the consequences in Buddhist terms are described as rebirth in the 6 realms. And the next 2 verses cover this, so I'll read them out. I'll read out both verses, verse 663 and 664. The gods, the Asuras, mankind, the animals, hungry ghosts, and Yama's abode. These 6 paths of existence are enumerated where sentient beings are born. And 664. According to one's karma, be it superior, inferior, or middling, one is born in these 6 paths. Guarding all that is good, one will attain an excellent emancipation. And guarding all that is good means not succumbing to materialism. And emancipation means emancipation from these 6 realms. So let's have a look at these 6 realms. The gods. The gods is where you appear if you have superior karma. The gods are happy, but this is happy with a small h. All the desires of the gods are met. everything is just as they like it. It's very difficult to become enlightened if you're a god, although not impossible. There are some heavenly realms where you can become enlightened, but it's very, very difficult because everything is so wonderful. There's no reason to look for enlightenment because you've no wish to upset the apple cart. Everything is quite delightful. It's true, you're quite cut off. You're not concerned with the suffering of others. So there's a lack of compassion, and there's no inclination to look for insight. So you're a very happy bunny. And this is what most people would aspire to. I should just point out that these 6 realms belong to the so-called world of desire. So they really are to do with putting the attention out there. It's just that the gods have found that they're in a world where wherever the attention goes, it's quite delightful. And so they're quite happy to keep putting the attention out. They might even be able to put it out into some very lovely higher states of consciousness. So that's the gods. Unlike the Middle Eastern religious traditions though, the gods do not live forever. They do eventually get old and die. And then rebirth happens in another realm. Once the good karma's been used up, it's where you can use up your good karma. And this realm, the realm of the gods, is coveted by the Asuras, sometimes called the Titans or demons. They're often at war with the gods because the gods are perceived to have this wish-fulfilling tree. The wish-fulfilling tree grants all your desires, and the Asuras, the Titans, want this. The Titans, the Asuras, are passionate beings. They direct all their energy, all their attention, all their mental processes to fulfilling their desires. They're sometimes called the jealous gods. They're very powerful beings. They want complete control, and they'll do whatever is necessary to achieve this control. But deep down, they are never, never satisfied. Because no matter how much control they get, no matter how much power they achieve, they know that deep down they're not really getting what they want. In a way, they're a bit like the hungry ghosts. This is another realm, the pretas. The hungry ghosts are rather pathetic creatures. The hungry ghosts are those that are enslaved to their fetishes. They can never get enough. They can never get enough. They're depicted back as having huge bellies and small pinhole mouths and thin necks which could never swallow anything that it could even get into their pinhole mouths. They're in a state of permanent disadvantage. This is how they feel anyway. They feel permanently disadvantaged. They feel that life is so unfair to them. And they're completely caught up in this particular mood tone, this particular feeling of deprivation. This is the pattern of their attention. They want something, They long for it, but the goods are never delivered because, like a fetish, it's all in the imagination, it's all in the mind. There is nothing in physical reality which could ever gratify the perceived promise of the fetish. In a way, it's a kind of hell. And in Buddhism, there are hell realms. These realms, these hells, are depicted in as much gory detail as you'd find in any medieval church teaching. And these are people who are suffering. It is physical suffering. You're caught up in physical suffering, and your whole mental landscape is sucked into this suffering. Your mental landscape is sucked into physical pain. And even if you're not in this physical pain at that particular moment, at any particular moment, you know that it's going to be coming along at some point. So even when you're not caught up in the physical pain, you're still thinking about it. It overshadows you and determines your fundamental mood tone, which is one of despair, exhaustion, and defeat. So there's two other realms to consider. One is the animal realm. And the animals basically are predisposed towards comfort and security. This is where their attention is focused. Avoiding the unpleasant and surrounding yourself with the pleasant. And we don't want to think about things too much. Just give me my comforts, please. And these comforts are purely sense-based. Food and sex. Food, sex, and entertainment. There's nothing wrong with these things in themselves, but when that's all your life consists of, then this is the animal realm. And like the gods, you're not thinking about anything else. You're not thinking about anything beyond this. And finally we come to the human realm. The human realm is where we actually have the possibility of bringing the attention home, of stop putting the attention out. The human realm is that which is most likely to lead to escape from the world of desire. And this is when we can be free of the habit of our mood energy, when we can decide to be happy. And this isn't just about being happy, it's about liberation from the habit energy of our moods. It's an opportunity which not many in the human realm take advantage of, but this is a possibility. Now in the traditional depiction of these realms, in the main part of the Bhava Chakra, the Wheel of Life, Buddha figures or Bodhisattva figures appear. In other words, it is always possible to shift. No matter what realm you're stuck in, even if you're in the hell realm, there's a possibility that you can tune into these teachings. And if you find that you can tune into these teachings, perhaps with the help of these videos, then what I'd like to suggest to you is that you do so either through reading or through remembering or through these videos. Try putting them on at a different time, or try tuning into these teachings at a time where you don't usually do it. This is quite difficult actually. I tend to do these videos in the morning, and I perhaps edit them and upload one in the evening. So I've got into a bit of a pattern, and I find it quite difficult to consider doing one of these videos at a different time, although I have done it at different times, because you always think, well, there's other things I need to be getting on with. I'm not quite in the mood for it right now. But if you're not in the mood for it, then that's a good time to be doing it. And this is like the Buddha appearing in a different realm, because we want these teachings to form the backdrop of our day. We want to be aware of them when we're walking along the street, or commuting to work, or the odd moment in the office or in the factory or wherever. We want to be able to bring these teachings to bear and to ask ourselves, where's the attention now? How is my mood? How is my mood driving the attention? Can I direct the attention to a Buddha realm, to a cosmic Buddha, to Amitayus? Can I direct the attention to the rainbow body? Or can I just direct the attention to itself, to spaciousness, to awareness? Can I liberate myself from my moods? How happy can I be at this present moment, regardless of what is going on? This is our enlightenment practice. This is how we realize an excellent emancipation.